Those learned.
And this.
I think all of us have experienced racial abuse in some shape or form, and it's it's something that's you learn to live with, and it's gotten better over the years. Like I remember when I first started working underground, you'd go up to these miners and they'd look you down, and because you're a little black fella walking up to the job, they think they want to know what you're doing there, and we've all dealt with something like that in our past, but I take a few lessons. My mother was a lady of a few words, but thinking back on the words that she did say now, she was passing on a lot of knowledge, subconsciously, really. And
What were some of the things that she might have said?
well, it's around the discipline, I suppose. It's and how to respect people, and how to treat people. And one of the biggest lessons I've learned is probably from my wife, and that's perspectives. And that's what's probably put me in a good place today, is that I haven't got it bad. I haven't got it half as bad as a lot of other people.
So tell me about perspectives.
Well, just your lot in life. If you're unhappy, or you think the grass is always greener on the other side, have a look around, because there's a lot of people that are in a lot worse off situation than I am, and the way a lot of us are. And that's just one perspective. If you're feeling down in the dumps, and you just sit back and you think, well, I'm not the worst. I'm better off than a lot of people. You get up and go along without any worries.
And is that true for you fellas as well? Like thinking about perspectives? Or?
Yeah.
How do you do it? How do you?
And touching on what George was saying, the underlying thing, growing up, racism was always front and centre, But in terms of how I reacted to it and how I resolved it, I put it down to my parents and my grandfathers and grandmothers. They were exempted from the Act, and therefore they had to live in mainstream society. And in terms of mainstream society, they were at the bottom of the rung of the ladder, socially, in employment, economically, all that sort of stuff.
So what did the Act mean then?
The Act for me, the Act was a state-initiated legislation that half-caste people, black fellas, if they were seen to be troublemakers, well, they were put on a mission, and that's it. And their life was what's name, and I think that has a lot to do with it. A lot of people's journeys is dictated by postcodes to a certain extent too, where they were brought up. Being exempted from the Act, well, our families, my grandfather and grandmothers on both sides of my family, they had to develop skills to survive. Even though the work they did was menial and shit work at the end of the day, but in the day they did it. But they did it and the drivers was to make a life better for their children. So that sort of principle then I inherited. When I went to school, I was fairly competitive at school right up until grade 8, then suddenly they went to school and they put down this piece of paper and they said, this is an aptitude test. And we'd done this aptitude test, even though I was in the top 1% of my class. The aptitude test comes back and said I was one of the dumbest, and they put me in and said they strongly recommended my parents to put me in the dumbest class in the school. The poorest of the poorest. Designated special class, and my mother and father tried to fight that, but the education institution said no, that's not changed. Yeah, so that shortened my academic. I loved learning. It was something that was treasured in our family and supported and encouraged. I used to run to school at 7 o'clock in the morning. That's how I said.
But the aptitude test was there.
But the aptitude test, in a sense, it said to my mother and father, said, no, I don't have an academic abilities. So that restricted my school life to grade 10.
So is that a little bit similar then to this idea then of living under the Act? So in terms of of people living under the Act,
yes.
So Aboriginal people live under the Act, the government legislated Act, which meant that you have to live in particular areas.
Yeah.
But if you're exempted from the Act, as you were saying,
Yep.
your parents were able to now not live under the Act.
Yep.
So which means freedom, but they went beyond the Act to go and live in white suburbs. But when they went into the white suburbs, they were at the bottom end of the white suburbs.
That's right. Yes,
So move from the...
So they had to develop all those skills to survive.
But you're also talking about this kind of subliminal way that you're able to identify when somebody, you're talking about a little bit as well, this kind of subliminal way where people know that you're Aboriginal. But you're talking about this kind of like radar, you know, not instead of radar, you know? This kind of this radar where you got this, where you know.
Yeah. And there's a denial in the non-Indigenous community that it actually happens too as well. Yeah. And you can, if you've got the time and you've got the patience, you can sit down and you say, well, this is what you look for. You just or you stand back and watch. You know?
And so the effect on that then of people then, so where Aboriginal people are and how they feel about themselves, what is that? Does that contribute to?
Oh, that's the biggest contributor to me, because a lot of our people can't deal with it. So if they can't deal with it, how are they supposed to get a job? How are they supposed to feel better about themselves? How are they supposed to help their children if they can't feel better about themselves? This is all about the men's business. You're always going to be. You have doubt, self-doubt. So like, if you go to the shop and they make you stand at the back till you get, what is he going to do? He's not going to walk out of the shop feeling happy about himself. He'll go, what's wrong with me? Why is this? So how are you going to go home and, so the stuff he's got inside him about where he just walked out of the shop with, that's going to go home. So how he's going to teach his kids? So this is a domino effect of, to me, domino effect of everything that's happening.